The Black Forest Fire is approaching this house that the strike team has been assigned to protect, and they are in position and ready to go to keep this house from catching on fire. You see that the fire is trying to creep up into the trees, but for the most part, this part of the fire was actually a creeping grass fire. Okay, the firefighter is now managing the fuels here by raking them up so they don't travel into the mulch area. And our crew is trying to do everything they can to manage the property here before the fire arrives. They want to make sure that if there's a gas grill out there, that gas bottle is not out. Here they saw some patio furniture out here, outdoor patio furniture, and so they're stacking it up here so it's not spread out all over the place and catches on fire. They're stacking up in one area where they can protect that and make sure that the fire doesn't ignite that. And you see the fire starting to approach here. This is on the side of the house called the Delta sides. Firefighter is now standing, waiting for the fire to arrive to him. He's at the edge of the mulch, and where the grass meets the mulch, he's going to make sure that the fire doesn't travel past that line. And he's keeping his head on a swivel and watching for the fire in all directions. Now you see the firefighter at the back of the house here. He's on the what they call the Charlie side again, and he's waiting on the fire to arrive to him. Smoke is going to be produced in lots of copious amounts, and you'll see the fire starting to creep to him, roughly at about, looks like about 6 inches every second. The winds are starting to pick up now, and you can see a few embers blow across. They're cold embers, but nonetheless, visibility starts getting poor. What the video can't convey to you is that there's a lot of heat being blown in towards that firefighter. As the fire and the heat are coming to him, he has his personal protective equipment on. He also has a heat shield, face shield that is on his face to help filter out the smoke and the hot gases that are coming to him. He's saving all his resources here. What we're trying to do is allow the fire to burn out all the fuel around the house and let it blow right on by, and then we don't have to worry about that reigniting. So we're saving our water resources for when we really, really do need them. And we're just protecting the deck here and making sure that this fire doesn't get into the mulch. Now you see that the fire is trying to travel up the trees, but the homeowner did a good job of trimming those trees back up to about 10 feet so the branches don't catch on fire, the low-hanging branches. Managing the trees like this will keep the fire from spreading into the crown of the trees, which is very bad. And now the fire is starting to burn up to the mulch, and then lots of smoke starting to be produced. I'm taping this from behind the hot tub on the back of the deck, trying to keep myself from having to be subjected to too much heat, and mostly my camera. And the smoke comes, and it's pretty much a whiteout. Now this is looking on the other side of the hot tub. I decided to move out of the way here. The firefighter is now applying a small amount of water right where the fire has met up with the mulch. The fire has now passed through, and it's done exactly what we wanted it to do, and that is burn around the house and leave the house intact. I'm shooting now at an angle from where the fire did approach. So this is already burnt out area. So you can see how the wind is picked up. But this is how the fire traveled towards the house. I'm just trying to give you a perspective on how it did. And this, everything is nice and black here, and that's what we want. We don't want a bunch of unburned fuel here. And now the strike team is doing a little bit of mop-up action. Now we're using the water resources to make sure that the fire is dead out as it butts up against the mulch, because the mulch is very flammable, and that's not a good thing to have right next to your house, because the fire will wick right into the house and burn the house down. So guys are on the Bravo side now, and they are pulling up their hose, and then they're going to do a walk around here in just a minute, 360 degree. But in the meantime, they're going to make sure that everything is buttoned up to this mulch is dead out. And they will check that with the back of their hand. Make sure that it is cold and dead out. And that way we don't have to worry about this rekindling. They're loading up their hose and ready to move on to the next assignment. next house to save. You can see that sometimes almost total whiteout, where you couldn't see over the hood of the vehicle, and yet the fire is burning up against the road. But they're moving on to their next assignment and ready to protect more structures. In 5.5 minutes, you've just seen what it took approximately 2.5 hours to do, and that's structure protection at the Black Forest Fire.